Without a past, how can groups in the culture have a future? One of the things that I've picked up on that's, I think, is profoundly important is that Gen X had a retro movement. The millennials kind of had a retro movement, but they really sort of rejected it. They ended up going with this faux 80s kind of thing, and with the Gen Z is kind of capitalized on it and pretty decently, you know. Like there's a lot of imagery and stuff that and styles of music that it works. A lot of the fashion stuff just doesn't. Where everybody wants to look like Duran Duran, and they come out looking more like Wham than Duran Duran. But Black America has really no future, being that the present generation refuses to look backwards with any accuracy. And everything that's cited in history is defeat. Is when the men used to beat their women after work, which they all did. And with the white people beating up the black people everywhere in the streets, or just taking their jobs and their money or something like that. Where you realize these are people that actually don't know anything about normal life for Black Americans in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. That there's just nothing about normal life that appeals to them. And big thing, anyone who knows their black music during the height of American music, about 1952 through about 1975, where that's when we made some of the most incredible, that's when Americans made some of the most incredible music in world history. That and then influenced music across the modernized and literally what we would call the second world. Most of Latin America was swinging to American jazz and soul music in the 60s, and psychedelia was all over places like Turkey and Vietnam and stuff like that. So because of a lack of understanding how successful sort of the Cultural Revolution, which really was shedding the discipline of the World War II period and then taking on fun. The 60s were key because they were fun. That's why when you see most of the albums, it says the young sound of today. So that was the boomers. That was the early boomers. That was not the boomers who are around now. This is the early ones. These are people who are in their 70s at their youngest, and they're just not heeded. What their accomplishments are just not appreciated when it comes to especially the music and the art. And a big part of it is because these guys were musicians and relatively normal dudes. You know, they weren't models. You know, they weren't these kind of BET, superstar looking model guys. You know, they were just dudes who played really good music. So there was that I was thinking about. So no future for black people until they look backwards with some clarity, which they won't, because that would require work. Unless there was like a movie. Unless somebody came out with a movie, that there was like a movie or a TV show that it's like, this is what our lives were like then. Like they were super normal. That's why nobody talks about what's happening. Nobody talks about any of those old shows, the Mod Squad, none of it. So then the next one is making all the money, making gazillions, reimagining something that it makes perfect sense to reimagine it in this way. So, you know, feast your eyes on the brilliance of Donovan. Gay Buck Rogers. Yeah, Buck Rogers, the character Buck Rogers, the show Buck Rogers from the 70s. Well, what you do is you reimagine it as a comedy, and in the future, like, everybody is like transgender and gay. And Buck Rogers is one of the only not transgender and gay people left, discovered on a ship. And so there's all kinds of funny things you could have. Like, remember there was a space disco in Buck Rogers. And I mean, everything, that's where it happens. That's where the comedy is at. Like Buck Rogers shows up to the space disco in the outfit he thinks makes sense. And like everybody keeps looking at him funny, and it's like, and at some point, of course, the joke is, are you sure you're straight, Buck? Things like that. His robot is like super Chad and mean to him and is always saying horrible stuff to him. But it's funny, like the evil space princess who is always in a bikini in Buck Rogers, still there, still evil, still in the space bikini, but now she doesn't want Buck Rogers. No, she wants Buck Rogers' sidekick. See, this is what I'm thinking is the Gorillions, brothers. Is that this Buck Rogers can totally be reimagined in a way that's legitimately funny, and that people of the present generation, if it's possible for them to write anything funny, could write it. And it could work. And it would work because, of course, multiple generations and dudes would find it funny. Most importantly, men would find it funny. This is why I think one of the only people who could write it is gay comedian Ty Rivera. Gay comedian Ty Rivera. If somebody sends this your way, just think about it. Just think about it, brother. Just think about it. I mean, just watch Buck Rogers from the 80s. There's so much there. There's so much there. Oh my God. The Lycra onesies, the super oversized space laser pistols. Why did the evil princess dress her mook in BDSM clothes? He couldn't even talk. See, that would be the best, is Ty Rivera actually as the space mook. Just to do it, just so he gets to be in it. Because, the dude had, all kinds of weird face painting and stuff like that. Well, Ty has all kinds of face tattoos, and pretty unique ones. And so, and then he could teach young gays how to write comedy. That's the most important thing. Young gays don't know how to write comedy. Then there's these people who call themselves queer. That doesn't mean shit. It's just girls who are not exactly sure if they're too ugly to get a decent guy. So they're like, maybe I'm into girls. I don't know. I don't really like working out, so I'm going to be heavy by the time I'm 29. So, how do I figure this out? How do I get somebody to take care of me? How do I get somebody to pay attention to me all the time? And positive attention, not negative attention. That's easy, And yeah, so gay Buck Rogers. That was the next thing I was thinking. Whoo, boy, what a day. And 5 in the morning. Whew, every day. All right. But I prefer the mornings. I prefer being up early in the morning. Anyway, early in the morning, I gotta get up. And so, what was the last one? Was the gay Buck Rogers. Oh my. Yeah, and have that other video where I was discussing that the transgender from oh dude, Bob Menendez, bro, Eric. Is this Sopranos or not? It's so Sopranos. He woke up this morning, got bribed with a bag of money, Bob Menendez did it old-fashioned style, New Jersey. Bring me a bag of fucking money. I want nothing but bullion. it was perfect. It was fucking perfect. Bullion and bags of money. pay my mortgage. I love it. I love it. That's just fucking brilliant. That's some good shit right there. Oh, and one of the things I love that they did it at Eve Fan Fest. I love Homie Said It, the preeminent science fiction franchise. They have finally accepted the crown. I said it over and over again. I know probably the people at EVE Online, if they are in any way familiar with my channel, they'd probably be like, no, we do not know anything about his channel. No, we never watch it. Never, ever, ever do we watch it. It is illegal to watch channels like him in our country. Um, he is too based and, how you say, red pill? So, the, oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. Because, so, yeah, the EVE Online is now at the stage that they've nailed it. They've nailed it out of the park. I wrote to them. I actually wrote to them once on Twitter, and I said, everything you're doing is great. And I was like, your universe, unfortunately, is not as alive as it could be. Because I was like, the pirates. The pirates are like the pirates are just a platinum mine waiting for you to dig. I'm like, that character group, the criminals, are an absolute gold mine. And this thing that you, I mean, you have to go to nullsec to do missions for them. Which isn't a big deal. I mean, you just have to do it. You just have to worry about getting killed. I had a great time doing one of those missions and it was really where, I mean, somebody knew what I was up to. They came to get me. I was up in Amatar, my little secret safe space up in Amatar, and doing a mission for, I think it was Angel Cartel. And sure enough, like somebody was hunting me down. And I detected them, took off at a certain point, and it turned out the person who watched... Oh, whoops. Sorry, I just saw Hood Conservatives thing. The person who... Yeah, Zarzak Gate is open. Eagle Fly. Yeah, Eagle Firefly. Eagle Firefly. See, I'm like Ashtarothi. I'm just adding R's. Adding syllables to words. Merkabubble. Yeah, I know he wants to say Merkaba because that's come up in the series, the Merkaba, and so it makes sense that you would call a ship Merkable or Merkable because it makes sense to name a ship a Merkaba because that's a word for a chariot. So, yeah, dude, yes, people are hitting me back. They're like, yeah, this is going to be so sweet on Eve. I love it. I love that. I love the Eve community. Such fascinating people. Such interesting people. And, okay, and the other thing was, I was thinking about with the right wing and this thing of the tradcons getting mad with the red pillars in the MGTOW. And one of the things that I was thinking about I was like, yeah, you all are not really getting how important this is, that there's so many men, these single men that are just that we're not going to take it. No, we ain't going to take it. Okay, there's never a time that married traditional men like any men's movement until their wives approve. Period. Until suddenly their wife sees her son doing something like very, kind of manly and macho, and he's becoming a little man, until that moment happens. They don't, no, they and I've thought about, I'm like, no, just like there's entire sort of, there's a reason one, the entire skinhead thing was demonized, and in the thing World of Skinhead, they even talk about it, that this one band guy, this guy who's in a popular band, skinhead band, says no, it was a completely working class social movement, and it was opposed to the hippies. That's why the public hated it. The public, it demonized it from the very start because it disagreed with the hippies, and everything about the hippies is pro sexual liberation, which really is that all things that men want, men want what men want, and men don't want sluts. Period. Men don't want sluts. Even somebody like Andrew Tate would not want a slut. Even him, he would be like that. Even he has, his kind of standards of what he expects. Even though he's a guy who, he jumps from one to the next, and he said that he, now, the older he gets, the more he looks forward to something like marriage. But and okay, and now there's something I'm seeing here from the Economic Ninja. There's going to be a type of collapse that's going to be fascinating, and men will be demonized. And so a lot of these trad cons need to get, you better figure this out. You better figure your shit out, buddies. Because you absolutely need us to keep the Republican Party in fucking office. You don't have anything without us. You have the rhinos and the mercy of the Democrats. Why? Because just like Zero Hedge just had an article today, all the blue enclaves, all the major commercial hubs of the United States are falling the fuck apart, and no men, mostly white men, will defend the innocent from crime. Black men don't do that. It's a small portion of black American men who participate in actually saving people's lives. It's a very small number. This is a white dude thing and a Hispanic dude thing. So, and there won't be a female police officer, female firefighter. No. The women, as soon as things really get rough, the women will get whining. They will not help. It doesn't matter that the Republicans, you have these beliefs and these thoughts and stuff like that. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. The whole thing is, we're sitting here just mending our armor. We're all sitting and camped. I am the Turcopolier. Gentlemen, mend your armor. Make sure the horses are fed. Make sure their hooves are dealt with properly. Make sure that they're not getting into they're not getting into some bad plants. Make sure the arrows are have I can't believe it, veins, have all their veins on them. Get extra bowstring. Let's get some extra bowstring, boys. And it's that because it's going to be a fight. The Democrats want to fight. That's it. This is now at the stage of these are punk motherfuckers who just want to start shit and ruin things. And perverts, punk ass motherfuckers and perverts. And then and then a whole bunch of petulant pussy. Where these women who are endlessly angry at fathers that their mothers kept them away from. And so we are going to let a lot of things fall apart. You just have to accept it. We're going to let a lot of stuff fall apart. It is to our advantage. It is to our advantage. Now, I highly recommend that a lot of right-wingers that are trad cons, and you don't like the red pill, you don't like the manosphere, you need to look up quotes from Eric Hoffer, Hoffer, and his book, The True Believer. Because you're going to think that this is a reference to the manosphere. No, it is a reference to what's to the Democrats. The Democrats have become a mass movement. The Proud Boys aren't. They have to gin up. They have to entrap the Proud Boys. They have to gin up charges. They have to have the entire media say things that are fundamentally inaccurate or completely untrue about them. And most importantly, remember, they had to gin it all up. There's nothing that Trump or the men's movement, we're not at fault. No, this is all the leniency and laxity of fathers of children and mothers. And mostly the mothers. They have failed. Just like what Briefold, he didn't have anything in his book so far that I saw where it discusses what happens when the cult of womanhood completely fails society and ruins it. And to me, I'm thinking we're seeing when the Greeks were taken over by the men who brought Jove. You know, the men who could actually tame horses, and so that Greeks were like, oh my God, humans riding horses, oh my God. So this is why I'm like, this is, that Medusa the Gorgons as goddesses will be replaced. This is not about that Jesus is going to be replaced by gay Jesus and Queen of Heaven Mary. No. This is no. It's they're going to lose, and what the best part about this is when the white liberals figure out that their all their quote unquote allies are pretty much worthless to them in their pursuit of the revolution. They don't understand this yet. That there's, but most importantly, that the white men aren't going to save them. That you can't get white men to save you. And then on top of it, like California now, San Francisco is having to beg police academies in Texas for cops because they're short. If they need 800, if they needed 800, they have 500. They desperately need 300, and that's new. That's new police. They ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. No reason for somebody who's enforcing the law to deal with all the fucking bullshit. Nope. So, just some thoughts about the culture. Hope everybody's feeling great. Time for me to maybe see about the Zarzak gate. Eagle Fry. His name is Eagle Firefly. But his name sounds Mongolian. Igor Fry. Okay, later.